Well, hello, good morning. Today's the 28th of March. A little bit groggy this morning on day 40. Made it for 4 times 10, made it to day 40. It was a long day yesterday. Was out working out and visiting the mother-in-law, and then after that we went over to a friend's place and had dinner and caught up with their brand new dog and sat around and talked about things. It was nice. It was a nice little 2 or 3 hours or I think it was really only about 2.5 hours that we were out there, but it was a nice opportunity to get some time in with the friends and go over, non-political, non-religious subjects. Had a couple of weird dreams last night. I had a dream that there were a group of us adults chasing a group of kids through a forest, and there were some celebrities in the group, but I don't know who many of them were. But one of them was Bill Burr. Bill Burr, a comedian, a guy I followed. I listened to his podcast for a long time, and he was trying to catch one of these kids because the kid was telling these funny jokes, and he was telling the kid, look, comedy's mostly plagiarism, so why don't you just tell me where you get your jokes from, or what your jokes are, and then I can use them. And I remember thinking in my dream, because I was standing next to him when we caught up with the kid, who wouldn't give the secret up. That was kind of stupid. I was like, but you're Bill Burr, like, the reason that you got famous is because you had a perspective on your early life. You developed your character doing shitty work and having to do shitty work, and then becoming a comedian was kind of your way out of that, and you used those experiences to inform your comedy, and having those experiences were what made you funny. You could look back on how you used to act or how you used to be, and that's what made you a funny guy. And then I woke up and then went back to sleep again and had another dream, same sort of situation. And I was talking to him again about it, like, look, you've got to use your experience. You've got to use the things that you know. Oh, excuse me. You got to use the things that you know to inform your comedy and to inform the way that you're presenting yourself. It's like that's what got you where you are. And so I woke up thinking it was weird that I'd had two separate dreams about the same person, and where I was giving them the same advice. And I suppose I wrote down in the journal, what I felt like that could have meant, and it's hard to put my finger on it, to be honest. Yesterday, while we were out at the friend's place, I saw his vape pen, his dope vape pen, and normally when we would go over to their place for dinner, I would get high and he and I would hang out, play cards, or talk about video games or whatever in the basement, lads and doing lad stuff. But we didn't end up doing that. We just sat at the table and had dinner and then had dessert and then chatted for a bit, and I guess thinking back on the dreams, I was thinking I couldn't really connect it to that. This is starting to turn into a bit rambly, but I asked a few questions about it. I was like, is it related to my hesitation to explore joining this larger group that I've been planning, or is it related to the book? Is what I'm saying to Bill Burr me actually saying it to myself? I need to continue to draw on my past experiences as a way of communicating forward. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's what it is because this weekend I've had someone proofing my book, and I got some really good feedback from that person, some good positive feedback actually. He said he really liked the tone, he liked the message in the book, he liked the way it was written. But I had gotten a little intimidated by how many other books there were out there and how they all had quite good reviews, and they all seemed to be self-helpy type books in the same sort of vein as what I've written. And I got worried because I was like, oh, it's going to be a saturated market, and my book won't go anywhere. You know, I'll release it and it'll just be another one to add to the pile. But maybe my subconscious is telling me to lean into that more, lean into my personal experience more, because the book is largely informed by the personal experience that I've had with it, as well as what I've observed. So yeah, but it's interesting, again, coming back to what I've been dreaming about, having dreams about something and feeling like there's a meaning to it, or there's something that I'm trying to tell myself, like with the dream a few nights ago about the pornography, or the side girl, and how I was sort of struggling to schedule time between her and my wife to where they wouldn't meet up. I feel like this is one of those instances. So anyway, no weaknesses as far as the video games are concerned from yesterday. We were too busy, and going out to a friend's place, we didn't really talk about games much there. And one thing I've noticed, I forgot to bring this up the other day, the longer I go without smoking weed, the less, and without video games, the less it comes up in conversation between me and the guys that I hang out with, and the less they do it around me, at least around me anyway. And I'm not sure if they're doing that necessarily out of respect for the fact that I'm quitting, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they're not putting as much value in it as before. Because when we would hang out and work out, they would just smoke up. We would smoke up at the end of the workout every time, no matter what. We would have a bowl and sit around and talk. But that hasn't happened. Obviously, it hasn't happened for me. But I never said to them, "Hey, don't smoke around me" or anything. I have zero issues with them smoking when we're done with workouts. But we haven't. We've sat around and chatted, and we've talked about things, or we've made plans. But then that's it. We all go home, and I assume that they get smoking then. But it seems like maybe their use is starting to taper off as well. And as much as I don't want to take credit for that, because I don't know that it's my fault, or I don't know really what I'm fully observing, my ultimate goal, one of the goals, or one of the outcomes that I would have liked from the goals that I've been setting, is that my behavior helps to inform my friends' behavior. And so if I can find ways to reduce their usage of dope and give them a little more clarity in their lives, then that's kind of what I've been aiming at. And particularly with video games too. One of my friends said to me, he's like, "I don't like how much time I spend doing it, and I don't like how it's the automatic reaction when I get stressed. I just go play video games." He's like, it seems like a waste of time, and I'm not getting anything done by that. And I wonder if the longer I go, maybe the more that behavior helps to influence the way that they look at it. So anyway, lots of stuff to think about. But yeah, day 40, looking at 6 weeks, coming up here on Tuesday, a couple of days from now, which will be it'll be the 30th. So put a fun video out on that day. But anyway, that's it for me. Have a great Sunday, and khaki day.